When you're bringing somebody out of hell, don't look back.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea in general.
Good idea. Don't look back into hell.
Welcome to My Hill to Die On, episode 84.
Everyone has things that they're passionate about.
Things we want our friends to try and experience.
So we've convinced each other to try different things.
And we talk about these experiences to see if we can get just one more person
to join us on our Hill to Die On.
All right, Ryan, I visited some parks, some more amusement parks. I talked about the dilapidated one last time.
So how dilapidated was this one?
Well, let me start with the one I visited more recently.
Okay.
School hadn't started yet after the summer, and we were looking for something fun to do. So I found that there was an indoor swimming facility up in Guma that looked interesting. Didn't look like it was going to be a full day's worth of fun, but it looked like it was going to at least be a half a day's worth of fun. And according to the reviews, it gets busy in the morning, but thins out a lot in the evening. So we're like, well, what if we just go afternoon? Like, we don't have to wake up early and travel to Guma all first thing in the morning. Sure, we could try to beat the line and do all that, but why? So we're like, sure, we'll just go in the afternoon. And that turned out to be a very wise decision. Well, I had a few things that I wanted to get done before we left anyway. So I was able to do those. My wife had a few things she wanted to get done anyway too, so she got those done. So by noon, we had finished everything up and piled into the car and headed out. And yeah, I think we spent from like 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at this place called Caribbean Beach out in Guma. And yeah, it's a little water park. It's got like 2 or 3 pools. Well, it's got a wave pool, 3 slides, a fairly nice lazy river, and a few hot tub type pools. And I think it had one of the better lazy rivers that I've seen. So I was pretty pleased about that. Does everybody know what a lazy river is, I guess?
I mean, I do, but maybe not everyone.
I've only seen it in Japan, but is it in America? Have you ever seen one in America?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been to an American water park.
It's a pool shaped like a river, so it's some kind of oval. Well, rivers aren't shaped like ovals, but anyway.
No, it's not.
It's a pool that's shaped in an oval, and it's basically just jetting water very fast in that oval, so you just kind of go around the whole time in the oval. Yeah, this one's pretty nice.
Yes, and the name Lazy River generally is because most people tend to either get on some kind of inner tube or floaty device and just kind of lay in it and let the current take them.
Yeah, it's super relaxing in many ways. Yeah, so this place, it had a very nice lazy river. The wave pool was pretty fun. The slides were pretty decent too. You get the tubes they give you, and you go pretty quickly through the slides, so I enjoyed those. I mean, that's pretty much it. So that's why it's really only a 3-4 hour time, and then you're pretty much done. You've done everything.
I was just laughing earlier because you said it's the Caribbean Beach in Gunma.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's hilarious, right? Caribbean Beach in the middle of Guma. I mean, really, in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Guma is so landlocked, right?
Yeah, it is. Isn't it it's between Tokyo and
like Nagano, Niigata, that area. Yeah, it's between Saitama and like Niigata, something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's the definition of landlocked. In the middle of nowhere. And Guma has a fair number of mountains because I think it's on the edge of the mountain range. I don't think. It's just this big tall building with an indoor water park in the middle of nowhere.
But it's a Caribbean beach.
Well, and one of the things I was worried about is it's apparently been here for a while. So I was pretty worried that it was going to be fairly dilapidated, right? But it wasn't. It looks like it has been receiving a good amount of care. Like fresh coats of paint on lots of stuff. All the rides were open and operating. There were lifeguards all over the place. When we arrived, it was fairly packed. So it does, they're probably bringing in a good amount of business. So yeah, I was a bit worried that like, looking at the pictures, like, wow, this picture was taken 6 years ago on Google. It's not going to look like that now.
This is going to be like Action Park or something.
Exactly, where everything's all run down and the paint's peeling. But no, it looked fairly good. There were some nice like murals on the wall. Some of that needed to be touched up a little bit, but that's because it's like complicated to touch that up, right? But all of the surfaces that were solid colors seemed to be freshly painted, probably this season sometime. So yeah, it looked nice. So I was pretty impressed by that. I am wondering, it must get a lot of locals. But again, Guma's landlocked, so it must get a lot of locals. I doubt there are that many people coming up from Tokyo for the day like we were. But yeah, it was good. Might go there again sometime, but we'll give it a little bit of time before we go again because it's not terribly much. Yeah, again, 2 to 3 hours worth of, or possibly 3 to 4 hours worth of excitement. But bigger than that, Ryan.
Bigger than that?
I went to the park that was not dilapidated at all this summer.
Disney?
Disneyland. We went to Disneyland.
Oh, the land.
In California. Did you know I went?
Yes, I know.
Okay. I was like, I thought I told you, right?
Yeah, you told me. I wanted to gasp for
effect.
For effect, yeah. Because you don't get to hear the gasps of all of the listeners who are like, oh, Nate went to a Disney-themed park?
No way. Well, actually, you know what's hilarious, Ryan, is our school changed insurance companies, right? Mm-hmm. A little while back. And in the new insurance company, we all got discount tickets to go to Disneyland here in Tokyo.
Uh-huh.
I have not used them yet. We have not gone since then. I think we had gone like just before we got those coupons. And we haven't gone since we received those coupons. Now, I guess it's only been 6 months, I guess, since we received those coupons. But still, I thought we would have gone at least once during that time, and we haven't gone yet.
I will tell you, I never picked up those coupons. Because I did not anticipate going.
I picked up 2 sets because...
Because you could, and because some people, like me, didn't pick up any.
Didn't go to pick up any, so then they just handed me a few extras. So I was like, okay, thank you. So, yeah, we haven't gone to Tokyo Disney since then. But anyway, we were in our trip to America, and on the tail end, we like to go somewhere else in America to tour around. Mm-hmm. And my wife had said, let's go to Disney. Or I'm sorry, my wife had said, let's go to LA. And I thought, oh, that sounds fun. There'll be a bunch of different things we could do there. So I looked up online about touring this, touring that, going to a taping of this or that. And they all didn't line up with our schedule. And I was a little bit disappointed in that. So in the end, my wife said, why don't we either go to Universal Studios then or go to Disneyland then? And I said, oh, okay, that sounds fun. And in looking at it, it made more financial sense to go to Disneyland. And we could have gone either way because of the tickets I was looking at, because I figured if we're going to go to this park, to Disneyland or Universal Studios in Hollywood, we're going to want to do everything. And so I want to buy the tickets that allow us to do everything. This is the complaint that people make, right? I go to Disneyland and I spend all my money. And I was thinking, yeah, I might complain that, but I was looking at this as, no, this is the opportunity for my daughters to go to this park. We're not going to come back here hardly ever. We have a Tokyo Disneyland right next to us. We'll just go to that one. And we do pretty well at saving money there too. So I don't need to save money in US Disneyland because this is the only time we're going. I doubt we'll go while they're still children in my household, right? No, I'm going to spend the money to make sure that we have a good time. So I did look at it like that. I didn't look at it like, oh, I'm frustrated that I'm spending all this money. No, I looked at it as like, no, this is the only time I'm spending. I mean, yeah, I'm going to save as much as I can, but I'm going to make sure that I'm not the one that is skimping and forcing us to wait in lines forever and not have a good day. That's not what I'm going to do. So I didn't buy the most expensive tickets, but I bought tickets that got us fast passes to a lot of rides, which was excellent. We had a great time. And it seems like most people that go to Disneyland get this ticket. I didn't feel like I was the only one. I definitely didn't feel like I was something special. But one of the cool things about it was, in Disneyland, well, maybe you don't know. In Disneyland, when you go, there's photographers all over the place that will take your pictures. And in the American Disneyland, if you had that pass that I had, which, seemed like most people did, they would take your picture and then you get to keep it for free. You just go onto the app and download it, which I thought was great. What a great idea. Like, the value that added to the ticket that I had already purchased was excellent. And now I've seen these photographers in Tokyo Disneyland, but I don't think that's the deal. And, possibly it's because I never would go and buy fast pass tickets at Tokyo Disneyland, but I don't think that's the deal. I don't think you get to do that. So it was a cool thing. I wish they had that more at Tokyo Disneyland because I think that's cool.
Well, they might. You just gotta...
Maybe.
You gotta spend more money.
I think there are more photographers, though, at the American Disneyland. Or the LA... I keep saying that. Yeah, the LA Disneyland. There's not as many photographers at Tokyo Disney. And one of the reasons why we did Disneyland is we could get 3 days at Disneyland or 1 day at Universal Studios for the tickets I was looking at for the price. So we chose 3 days at Disneyland. So we pretty much spent our whole time in LA at Disneyland. We didn't do any other touring. which, yeah, I think that's actually what my daughters would have enjoyed. I'm not sure what other touring thing they would have enjoyed. Maybe if we'd done, like if we actually done a studio tour of a Hollywood studio, I'm not sure they actually would have enjoyed it. I think Disneyland was probably what they would have enjoyed. I think I would have enjoyed a studio tour, but that's not what they would have enjoyed, I don't think. So I think it was fine that we didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
So one of the differences I noticed in Tokyo Disneyland and LA Disneyland is that, or Anaheim Disneyland, sorry, is that the Anaheim Disneyland, the paths are all a lot thinner. Tokyo Disneyland, the paths are very wide. And I also found that they're much shorter. Like, I felt like the Anaheim Disneyland was a lot more forested. Like in Tokyo Disney, you can stand at the center of the spoke, at the center of that spoken wheel thing. You can stand at the center of the wheel and pretty much see into every land. There's a few spots you can't quite see into. Like, you probably can't see the entrance to Space Mountain from the spokes. You can't see Jungle Cruise maybe from the center of the spokes. But you can see into every land fairly easily. But I felt like Anaheim Disneyland, you couldn't do that. There was lots of paths, and thin, twisty paths. So I felt like Anaheim Disneyland was a lot more crowded, but I think that's only because the paths were thinner. I don't think there was that many people. I just think the paths were thinner because the lines that we would line up on, when we did line up in a line, was only like 20 minutes long. The rides were not that long of waits, except for the very huge rides, Star Wars that everyone goes to. Except for those rides, the lines were only like 20 minutes, and we did a whole bunch of waiting on lines. That was not a problem. So, yeah, I think the park feels busier at Anaheim Disney than at Tokyo Disney. Tokyo Disney, when it's that crowded, the lines are long on everything. Like, these are hour and a half lines on everything. If you feel that crowded, like you had to wait for somebody to pass before you could make it through the path, that kind of thing. Like, if that's the case, then the lines are just craziness. You shouldn't even be in the park.
Well, I mean, the Anaheim Disneyland, isn't that like built in like the 50s?
Yeah. So it wasn't, I don't know if they designed it for this style of crowd, like this amount of people. I mean, maybe they did. Tokyo is definitely designed for a larger amount of people.
Well, it's also a smaller, I think it's a smaller speck of land, so they have to be very judicious with
right with what they're using it for.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I liked, there was a go-kart driving ride at Anaheim Disney that they used to have at Tokyo Disney, but they took out for all of the new stuff because that ride took tons of land and, didn't serve a lot of people. I think another ride that I always fear is on the chopping block at Tokyo Disney is Jungle Cruise, which takes up tons of land, right? But it's a great ride. They shouldn't get rid of it. But the go-kart driving ride, yeah, that was better. The Bell ride and all the stuff they've put in is much better than that go-kart ride. But they still had it at Anaheim Disneyland, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, if they take out the Jungle Cruise, where will all the terrible puns go?
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, so, here's one of the things. One of the reasons why we were looking to go to, even though we have Tokyo Disney, why would we go to Anaheim Disney? And one of the things is, all of the stuff would be in English. And the Jungle Cruise driver we rode with was great at the bad puns. Just great at the bad puns. Loved it. The backside of water, all kinds of good stuff. Wonderful. So, yes, I'm sure they're making all those bad puns in Japanese. We're just not catching all of them. So it is good for my daughters to actually hear that, I think, too.
So what you're saying is you need to improve your Japanese just so you can
understand all the bad puns of the
exactly.
cruise drivers. Yeah, that would be good. I wouldn't mind getting to that level. We did also go to California Adventure because it was a multi-day thing. And I do feel like California Adventure Park is to Anaheim Disneyland as Disney Sea is to Tokyo Disneyland. It is
the date park?
No, no, but just the sister park, like a pair, like.
Because to me, Disney Sea is the date park.
Disney Sea is the date park. I will give you that. I don't think California Adventure is the date park.
You're right. That's Galaxy's Edge.
I'm not sure that's true either. You mean okay? Because I don't know enough. Is Galaxy's Edge just the area of Disneyland, or Galaxy's Edge is the hotel?
I think it's the area of Disneyland.
Disney World, probably. Well, I mean, I guess it's in both, but I bet you the Disney World one is bigger, I guess. Huh?
Oh, probably. But I think it's the land, like Frontierland,
right.
Tomorrowland, all those lands.
Because they did have one at Disney, and we did do Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. We did that a few times. That was quite fun. Because you can do a single rider line. Again, we just used all the tricks that we learned from Tokyo Disney. You can do single rider. Of course, at Galaxy's Edge, well, we didn't do one of them because one of them was too much. You had to pay extra, and it was not worth it. But we could do the single rider on the Millennium Falcon ride. I forget what that was called. But where you sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and that was quite fun. If you do the single rider, though, you're pretty much always the engineer. You never get to be the pilot. So I think we did decide toward the end of one day when the lines were getting shorter to actually wait on the lines so that we could get better than engineer seats. We could get pilot seats and gunner seats. So that worked out. So yeah, that was fun. Yeah, California Adventure, I think that had some of my kids' more favorite rides. Like they really liked the Incredicoaster and the Cars ride. Yes, the Cars ride was in California Adventure too. That was a very fun ride. They were new experiences for us. And it's pretty amazing how you see animatronics in a bunch of the stuff, but basically they did animatronics with the Cars characters, which is, they're just larger. And it was just kind of neat to see how they did that and the eyes on the windshield and all that stuff. So they were able to do that. That was pretty cool.
Yes, but was there car talk?
No, they didn't have the Rusties. Yeah, they didn't have the car talk guys doing the Rusties voices. That's too bad. Yeah, that would have been cool. I think the funniest experience we had was my daughters really wanted to do the big Ferris wheel in California Adventure because in the Ferris wheel, the car in the Ferris wheel doesn't stay at the top. It kind of goes around in an oval. And as the Ferris wheel spins, the car recenters to the bottom of the oval as the Ferris wheel is spinning. So the car keeps, not only does it swing, but then it like moves. And my wife did not understand that was going to happen. Me and my wife stayed away from a lot of the shaky, make you throw up rides.
Yeah.
I did Incredicoaster once or twice, but I realized that the Incredicoaster, my eye level was slightly above the seat's height. And even though I was wearing my glasses, my eyes got dried out because of the wind coming at my face. And I had a hard time getting my eyes moist again after that ride. It like hurt. Because we went to California Adventure on 2 different days, and I did it on both days, and both days that happened to me, and I realized the second day I was like, oh, it's because my eye level is slightly above. My girls loved it because their eye level is below the seat height, so the wind coming at their face is not as bad as it was for me. And I was looking around the roller coaster, and I was like, there's got to be other people as tall as me. I can't be the tallest person in this ride. Like there's got to be other people here. But I don't know if they had the same problem I did, but I definitely had that problem where my eyes just got dried out because the wind coming. It was a very fun, very fast ride. I loved it, except for the fact that my eyes dried out. But anyway, all right, back to the, sorry. So me and my wife did some of the rides, but then let my daughters do more after that. And anyway, so we were going to do this ride, and I was looking at this Ferris wheel. I'm thinking, that Ferris wheel car moving around like that, it's going to make me feel sick a little bit, but I think I'm just going to do it anyway. And I'm going to encourage my wife to do it. She's not understanding, I think, what's happening. So we did it, and it totally surprised my wife. She just could not understand. Wait, why is it moving? And I was like, you didn't see it? Like, you can see them swinging, all the rest of them. But she was so surprised. It was so hilarious. I actually was able to get a picture of her being so surprised. It's a hilarious picture. She just didn't understand what was going to happen. And I was like, I was looking at it like, you can see all the car spinning. You didn't understand that this is what it's going to feel like. But in the end, it wasn't that sickening, which is good, but it was pretty funny and was unexpected. So that was good. So yes, we didn't get sick, but the unexpected part was great. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. I think it was a great park. I think there was a lot of good rides. I'm glad we went because Matterhorn and things like that, they just don't have them here in Tokyo Disney. So it was nice to go to the soaring ride in English. The Indiana Jones ride in English, although our Japanese one, I think, is better because you can fit more people in the car. Different things here and there, but I enjoyed it. I think, though, that to me, the Tokyo Disneyland and Anaheim Disneyland California Adventure, that's the size of park that I think I can handle. Especially even, we had a 3-day vacation, and I think that was perfect size for that. Like, I get worried about, every time I look at going to Florida Disney World, I get super nervous. Like, there's so much here to do. How would we fit everything in ever?
A week.
Yeah, it's got to be a week or longer, and then you're still missing out on things. I don't know. I think my brain just can't handle that. So I think I don't need to go. I think I'm good. I'm good with these 2 experiences. We'll just go to Tokyo Disneyland some more, and more rundown parks around Japan.
How many rundown parks around Japan can you go to?
I'm sure I can find some more. I'll keep looking.
The question is, how many will your daughters actually want to go to?
Actually, I asked my daughters if we wanted to go back to the Nasu Highland Park again.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking, should we go back during break? And they said, nah, I don't want to go to roller coasters that shake you around. It's like, oh, okay, sure. So maybe we won't be going this break. I think I have some other ideas, though, so we will see.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went to amusement parks this summer, Ryan.
I didn't.
You didn't go to any amusement parks?
No, I did not.
You didn't even try the amusement park of riding on the ferry.
Yeah, so originally I was thinking about going to Hokkaido and taking the ferry up there, and that sounded like a great trip.
Which I do think would probably be an adventure. I mean, I don't think that's just that part right there.
Yeah.
Is a journey in itself.
Oh, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I still want to do that. Mm-hmm. It was the fact that when I was making the plan, I didn't have enough that I was doing on the other end once I got to Hokkaido to actually convince myself that the amount of money I was spending on the ferry was worth it.
But do you think the ferry is part of the trip, right?
Yes. Oh, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I was happy to spend money on the ferry because for me, that part was something that I was excited to do.
Oh, but you don't want to just go up, turn around, and come back.
Exactly. That was my problem. Is I realized that my plan was ride the ferry, and then I was like, and then what?
And then what? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the other things in Hokkaido that I was interested in doing, my body was not allowing me to do this year. Mm. A lot of the other things that I was looking at were they have a lot of really good mountains up there. I would love to go on some hikes. But I have been experiencing some back problems since before graduation. Mm-hmm. And so I spent most of my summer going to doctors and trying to narrow down the causes of these things. My back is better now, but because of that, I didn't want to do anything like, oh, I'm going to go climb up a mountain by myself. Mm-hmm. Call me crazy, but that sounds like a bad idea, or at least an unsafe idea.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing a lot of local stuff, trying to get a few things sorted for the school year. And for me, a lot of it was I decided that I was going to take this summer and just relax. Mm-hmm. I have been go for so many years that I just decided that I was going to have a summer where I had no expectations. I had no plans. I was going to wake up, read books, watch movies, relax, play games, and that's what I did. I mean, sure, a lot of people were out of the area for a while, and so, yeah, I didn't get a chance to spend a whole lot of time around people, but I got to have a lot of time to catch up on a lot of the things that I couldn't do because of how busy I've been lately. So I did that. It's one of those things where I realize that when you get to the end of it, there are two reactions that you can have to my summer. When I get to the end and I'm like, what did you do? Nothing. I did absolutely nothing. And the two reactions are either, well, that's kind of sad, or that sounds glorious.
Right. That sounds glorious was my reaction. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, I think I didn't do anything. That's a good vacation. I mean, but I guess it can go either way.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we were discussing. Our next school vacation coming up, I think I'm going to make it specifically a let's do nothing vacation because we've had a lot of things going on recently. So a let's do nothing vacation sounds a lot more.
Whereas because I've done the let's do nothing vacations, I'm actually thinking about our next school break as, okay, I should go somewhere.
Right.
It's a week. That's a limited amount of time. I can just go there, do something, spend some time. Like, by that point, things should have hopefully cooled down a bit. Maybe I could go... I'm dreaming, aren't I?
No, probably right. This week isn't looking too bad. I was looking at it.
Yeah, actually.
You're probably right.
Actually, this week's not looking too bad. I'm beginning to think that I can once again venture to the outside.
The out of doors.
I don't have to run from air conditioning to air conditioning.
Maybe we can save some electricity money.
But yeah, I think that it'd be real nice to do something, maybe go somewhere, and I have to start thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to start thinking about my flight back for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, need to make sure that I don't spend all the money on the first trip for the winter trip. All right, I'm going to talk about a game that I played and beat pretty recently.
What?
And it's a game called Stray Gods.
Okay. I mean, you played Stray, so why not play Stray Gods?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, how to put this? The subtitle for this game is The Role-Playing Musical.
Okay. That wasn't what I was going to guess.
What did you guess?
Well, I just didn't think it would be a musical. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I could have guessed role-playing. I hadn't thought about that far ahead, but yes.
Yeah, The Role-Playing Musical. It is an interesting game. The quick intro to the plot is you are a character named Grace who is trying to figure out what they're doing with their life and ends up inheriting the power of a muse from one of the Greek muses because she has met a muse and that muse dies and passes on her power to her. Then everybody immediately assumes that you killed her.
Yeah.
And is trying to find out what happened, and you have to figure out who actually killed Calliope, the muse. You have to figure out who did it by inspiring everybody to sing their innermost thoughts and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
As you do.
Well, if you're a muse, that's what you would do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have the power.
You have the power to inspire people to sing their innermost thoughts and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire game is dependent on what kind of choices you make. The songs will actually change on the fly. So if you're like, I'm going to approach this song smartly or emotionally or aggressively, those are pretty much the main three. But depending on that, the backing music will change and the lyrics will change, and it gives a different vibe to the song as a whole. And you can basically guide the conversations into various things. It's interesting. The music, I would say, is good. There are a couple of songs that are better than others. I will say that perhaps the song that I liked the least was the Minotaur's song. And the reason being was it started with the Minotaur actually saying, "Oh, I'm not that much of a singer," and then going on and purposefully, I think, or I hope, hit some real rough notes because of his character or because the voice actor himself was playing that up.
Are these cut scenes? How is it that songs... So they're not, I mean, these are pre-programmed, so it's not like the computer's generating them on the fly. So these are choices in the Choose Your Own Adventure that can come up, so they have songs already written for these spots.
Yeah, so basically it is a Choose Your Own Adventure kind of thing, but there are a bunch of different songs that you can come across, and based on your choices, there are a set number of different pieces that will fit into the song. So your choices will actually essentially trade out different pieces of the songs with different styles. Mm-hmm. So just to use one of the very first songs as an example, there is a song that you sing between your roommate and Pan, the Greek god Pan. And based on your choices in that song, there are basically 3 major variations to that song. And then within that song, every line has another 3 variations based on how you chose to react at that moment in the song. So pretty much think of it as a giant flowchart. Isn't life a giant flowchart?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to do that.
And I mean, I'm assuming the game, since they're spending all this money on songs and stuff, the game wants you to get to them too. So
yeah,
While you might make different choices along the way, you're still getting to the song at some point, probably, right?
Exactly. Every route ends up at all the major songs. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, the song will have a different feel, but you'll get to all the different songs. That being said, they got actually a really good cast to do this. So, like, the voice actors are all pretty well known, at least in the video game industry, voice actors. Like Laura Bailey, Ashley Johnson, Erika Ishii, Felicia Day, Troy Baker. These are all people who are actors and voice actors who have been in a lot of things. And like I said, they have really good, strong music, a lot of fun. If I had to make one complaint about it...
Yeah, because I'm going to force you to make one complaint, Ryan.
You're not going to force me, but I'm going to make one complaint anyway. Mm-hmm. The songs were fun, and the choices they were making were good, but I thought that a lot of times the characterization of certain characters felt a little clunky, at least in certain points of the story where you were like, it feels like they're trying to make this character do this one thing, or it feels like they're trying to make this character say this one thing. So it didn't feel as natural as it could. Again, I like the story. I thought the songs were good, but it felt like some of the characters could have been written a little bit stronger. The voice acting, great. The overarching narrative, I thought was fun, and I thought was good. But I thought that some of the individual characterizations could have been stronger.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think it's because in my mind they were a little too beholden to some of the tropes, but that might just be my gut reaction at the moment. But yeah, it was fun, and the reason why I had to play this game was because it feels like a game that was designed for a person like me. Mm-hmm. Hi, do you like Greek mythology and musicals and role-playing games?
This game's for you.
This game is for you.
Yeah, I think you fall into that.
I think this game is right up my alley. Now, again, I felt like it was a good game. I wish some of the characters could have been a little bit more fully realized. Mm-hmm. Or maybe that some of their interactions could have been a bit more nuanced, but there's only so much you can do in a game like this that's designed around these musical set pieces. Mm-hmm. So that might also have been a limitation of that.
Yeah, it could be teen angst in there too.
Oh, I'm going to say it. Tons of teen angst. It's dripping with it. Apollo, the sun god, because he is an immortal and everybody he knows has been living for thousands upon thousands of years. He is Ennui, the humanoid version of Ennui.
Have you seen there is an Ennui character in the new Inside Head?
Inside Out?
Inside Out, yeah.
Yeah, I have not seen Inside Out too.
Me neither. I'll have to watch it when it comes out on streaming.
Basically, he is a person who, because of his past choices and things, like everybody he cares about is either hates him or is no longer around. And so he's basically like, I'm sad. And that's kind of his big thing, is like in the path where you can end up in a relationship with him. Yes, you can end up in a relationship with these gods, with specifically 4 of them. In that path, you basically have to be like, hey, maybe give it another shot. Try again. Don't keep looking at life so jadedly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I just think it's funny, especially that you're trying to teach him.
You're like a 20-something-year-old kid who's trying to teach Apollo, the god of the sun and prophecy, that, hey, maybe don't look at the world so jadedly.
Yeah, you're being the counselor for these gods, huh?
Actually, that is a apt statement. Throughout the entire game, because you are making them sing their innermost feelings, you're basically acting as their counselor. That is not a wrong statement. And I think that partially is a little bit why some of the characterizations I feel were a little clunky, is because sometimes it feels like it's being a little too counselory.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense then.
Anyway, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. Best game of all time? No. Fun game? Yeah.
Good.
So, Nate, Scott brought us back a present.
Scott, as he gallivants around Europe.
As one does.
As one does, as Scott does at least.
As Scott does.
Yes, as only Scott can do. He found a box of KitKat cereal and has gifted us some KitKat cereal.
Because clearly, if we're doing as many KitKat flavors as we have, and we still have a stockpile of more, we need to also have KitKat cereal.
Apparently. So let's try one dry first. Did you already pour?
I have one that's dry.
Let's try dry. Let's see how this is dry.
Chocolatey.
It tastes chocolatey. I think the wafer flavor is a little lost.
It feels like I'm eating a chocolate cereal. Like different consistency, but kind of the same general vibe as Cocoa Pebbles. Like lots of chocolate.
Alrighty.
All right.
Dry wasn't too bad.
No, but it wasn't anything that I don't think I haven't tasted before.
Let's see with milk. I do think probably milk will enhance the flavor. I think it's definitely better. I think the texture is interesting, right?
Yeah. It's very puffed is the best way to put it.
Which I think, is definitely reminding me of the wafer. It's not wafery, but it's, puffed is making it feel wafery, even though it isn't, right?
Yeah. The downside is, I'm sure that if I let this sit in the milk too long, it's just going to disintegrate.
Yeah, probably true.
As for a cereal, it's not bad.
Right. Yes, as a cereal, I do think it is a decent cereal.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a decent cereal. It's not the cereal I normally would go for. But, if you like really sweet chocolatey cereals, it's not bad.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with... I think I'm only going to go with 6, though. It passes the sniff test. It is a cereal. And it's passing. But yeah, I don't think it would be my favorite pick.
No. I think I am trying to decide between a 5 and a 6 here. Because it's hard, because it's the only cereal we've had.
Yeah.
Because it's the question of, am I judging it as a KitKat, or am I judging it as a cereal? If I'm judging it as a KitKat, it's... Yeah. It's not a KitKat. It's cereal.
I definitely think I went from the cereal approach.
Okay. From the cereal approach, 5.5.
Okay. Are you rounding up or down? Yeah, see, I think to me, I was a little higher. I was deciding a little bit more between 6 and 7.
I think I'm going to go with 6, but I'm a low 6.
Yeah, you're a low 6. I might be a higher 6, but...
Yeah, well, it's the fact that for me, I like my cereal to have a little bit more substance. I don't tend to like super chocolatey cereals in my old age. I like granola. I like granolas with dried fruit in it and things like that. Very sweet cereals like this feel too much, if anything, for me. It's too much sugar. There is a drink in front of me.
All right.
What is this? A dagger in front of me? Wait, no.
I think you might like this one, Ryan, because it's peach.
I do like peach.
White peach Calpis. This does look to be a thickly flavored drink. It has 10% fruit juice.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Which is high on the fruit juice scale. You would think it's not, but it is.
Compared to all of the normal fruit juices, yes. Because how many of them have we gotten where it's like, this is real peach juice, 1%.
1%, yes. 1% is the average, I would say. So 10% is on the high scale. So this might be more peach than Calpis, which could benefit you, Ryan.
It's still 10%, so more peach than Calpis, really?
Well, 10% of a flavor is pretty strong,
Well, Calpis, since 1919 in Japan, a refreshing blend of sweet and tangy made with cultured milk.
Yes, cultured milk. Ooh, definitely smells white peach. Now, white peaches in Japan, I mean, I guess they're this way in America too. Probably have to spend a lot more money, but white peaches in Japan are very good. They're huge, juicy, very good things, right?
Mm.
And they're fairly expensive, but they're very good. So, and very sweet. This definitely smells like white peach, Japanese white peach. So, it's promising. Promising, Ryan.
Promising. But what is it promising me?
A good flavor. Let's try it out. I think it's peach with a hint of Calpis, that's for sure.
It is peach with a hint of Calpis.
It's like cream peach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not bad. I think I like it.
Yeah. I think if you didn't tell me this was Calpis, you could have tricked me.
Okay.
If you had told me peach cream, I would have been, okay, that sounds interesting. And just not told me it was Calpis, then okay. But I do taste the tiny, tiny little bit of Calpis.
And it's bringing it down for you, huh?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to end up tying a different Calpis drink.
I think I'm going to say 8.
Well, here's the fun bit. I also am saying 8.
Ooh, look at that.
Because if you look up at episode 65...
It ties Calpis cold peach. Yeah.
I told you it would tie another Calpis drink.
From 2 years ago right now. Look at that.
Yep, from 2 years ago, we had Calpis cold peach, and I gave that an 8. The highest grade I have ever given a Calpis drink. And this, I feel, ties it.
Okay.
For one simple reason. I almost don't taste the Calpis.
And it's a decent drink.
It is a decent drink. I will say it's a good peach drink. I find that it is a refreshing peach flavor. Peaches that we get here, I'm reminded of this one time I went up near Sendai and visited a farm.
Yeah, the when you went to reinvigorate the land of Ibaraki, that trip?
Yes, that trip. There was a trip that went to talk about these farmers were trying to get people to help reinvigorate the land of Ibaraki and talk about like, no, we're safe. The food that we produce here is not got the radiation from the nuclear power plant and all that stuff. But one of the farmers was selling some of his produce, and he had large orchards of peach trees. And one of the things he was selling was this giant bottle of just pure peach juice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think you brought some down, didn't you?
I did, and it was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And this reminds me of that, except that it has been slightly befouled.
Okay.
Because if it had just been that pure peach juice, that would have been a 9 or a 10. But something insidious has entered my peach juice.
I like it.
Yes.
I don't think it's my favorite, but I do like it. So that's why I think I'm going to go with 8.
Again, it's because something insidious has entered your peach juice.
No, I don't think it's that. It's not that, but I don't exactly know what it is.
It's the cultured milk.
No, it really isn't that.
It's the uncultured milk.
Yeah, definitely that. That's what it is. No, it was good. I like it.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to shake this up beforehand.
Well, mine got shaken in a bike ride. Was there a lot on the bottom?
Oh, yeah. Mine's been sitting in my refrigerator for like ages.
Well, it has expired.
That's fine. It only expired a couple of months ago.
Yeah, exactly. Only a month and a half ago. All right, so Ryan.
Yeah.
We're starting a series of books about clones. Not from this author, but a bunch of authors all mixed together.
Yeah.
And what are clones but backups? Although this lady also makes a backup of the clone.
Memories.
Yeah, what builds a clone, I guess.
Well, it was their mind map.
Yeah, mind map. That's what they called it. Right. Mind map.
Yes.
So I thought we would say pick 2 things either that you back up or times you were saved at a backup or things like that.
All right. Seems reasonable. I mean, mine don't really have stories, but more ideas behind the reasons why I do. So the first thing that I thought of was, honestly, my audiobook library.
Yeah.
I buy most of my books these days on audiobook. And I also buy many of them from a DRM-free website. And so, whether it is from the DRM-free website or another website, I always like to have downloaded a copy of that audio file, whether I have to listen to it through a proprietary service or not. But I like to keep a backup of that file on my computer. And the reason being is because there's always a part of my brain that says, if I become unable to download this from wherever I purchased it from in the future, I'd like to still have access to my book that I have purchased.
Right, because you purchased it.
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
So I basically create a digital backup of all of those books. And they just sit on my computer waiting for me to upload them into whatever service I'm going to be using to listen to my books. Lately, it has been Book Player that I've been listening to many of them because I have been listening to the ones that I have purchased lately through the DRM-free website. Libro FM, because they say they support local bookshops, but for me, also a large part of it is I would prefer my books not to be locked inside DRM. And so being able to keep a backup of all my books is something that I am very happy to be able to do. So I have a not insignificant portion of my computer that is basically constantly locked into being the backup of my library, which I literally call the library.
The library of books.
The library of books.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. That's the main thing because, I never want to get to a point where I suddenly realize I can no longer listen to Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Or all my Sanderson books, or all the Pratchett books, or.
Yep. No, media backup is a big thing for me. Before I get to my pick, I will say that, yes, I back up all my audiobooks as well. In fact, I think I took some of my inspiration from you. I think I had already started organizing things by author, but I liked how you had organized the books within the author by the series. Because that's how you think of it, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Especially when you have a few books by the same author, but in different series.
Mm-hmm.
Like Becky Chambers, I guess, for instance.
Yeah.
Because you want to know them by the series, and often authors don't name their books alphabetically.
No, they really don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, my organization system is very simple. So I have my folder, which has folders of each author, and then inside that author, I've created a naming scheme that starts with the series that it's in,
right,
then the name of the book, and then if there is any subsequent information that needs to be identified about it, it follows the title of the book. So, for example, the Discworld books. That's the one that's probably the most complicated.
Yeah, because there's series inside of series in that one.
Exactly. There are series inside of series. So, for example, I have Discworld Book 1, The Color of Magic, and then I have Rincewind Book 1 at the end, so that I can remember that this is the first book for Rincewind,
mm-hmm.
but I can also remember that this was the first book in Discworld as a whole.
Right. So, yep, I liked that. I've stolen that and put that on my books as well, because that has helped. But yeah, media is a big thing. Well, and here's an interesting thing. I've decided actually not to back up certain media. I don't back up, for instance, my Audible books in the Audible format because I can download them again, but I am concerned like you are that might not always be the case, that I can download them again. But I mean, it is nerve-wracking knowing that at some point we're not going to be able to authorize our computers to play those files. And then what do we do? All right, I'm going to pick, speaking of backing up media, I do back up my photos a lot. Possibly excessively.
Possibly excessively?
Possibly excessively. You can make a judgment here after I lay it all out. I will lay it all out to you today.
Well, I've made my judgment because I Nantanaku, or I basically know what the layout is, but I will leave the rest of the judgments for other people.
Yes. So when my phone travels to my house, I have a script that will run that triggers it to back up to my server. Very handy. it throws a copy of the photos onto my server in basically like a capture place. Like it's a place where I place photos even if they're not coming from my phone. Like if they're coming from my large cameras or people give them to me, I place them in this folder. Then what it does is it takes the photos that it finds there and says, great, I'm going to save it off to 3 different locations as this was captured on this date. So it saves it off to 3 different locations as like, yep, I downloaded it on, September 1, and these are the photos I got on that date. Then it also places a copy into my sorted by date. So because if they were taken today, it puts them in the September folder and says, these are the photos that were taken September of 2024 and places them there. Then, of course, my Synology backs up itself, and it backs up the photos folder specifically to another volume on the same Synology, so onto different disks within the same Synology. And then my Synology is backed up to 2 other Synologies. So I have a lot of backups of my photos. The reason I'm doing it this way...
I have a comment to make there, but I will leave it there.
So yeah, I'm sure I've got like 6 or 7 backups of the same photo.
Yeah.
I'm sure, possibly. Now, the first thing, the reason why I save it off into 3 different locations saying this was captured on September 1st is because I am afraid of some point there being bit rot on a photo. It's probably not terribly likely, but I wanted something out of the backups of my Synology so that if bit rot ever happened, that bit rot is not extended down the chain. It's not extended into the backup, right? So if a file gets corrupted, I need it in a different chain of events on a different hard drive, making a different... If those hard drives aren't backed up themselves, and I'm afraid that I'm going to lose, because the hard drives that I'm using for this, I'm afraid I'm going to lose at some point. So I don't want to just be copying back and forth from them. I want to have fresh copies. So I've set up 3 right off the bat so I can have this fresh copy. So that's the bit rot thing. Yeah, it's a little, I know it's excessive, but I've got drives lying around anyway, so what are they doing? They can just accept this file, right? So, I mean, that's not costing me money. I've just got drives sitting around doing nothing, so I've just plugged these drives in, right? So that was not an expense. My Synology backs itself up to another set of volumes on the same Synology. The reason I do that is because the way that I've laid out my disks in my Synology, my photos saved to the 2 SSDs, and the 2 SSDs are not set up in a way that's supported by Synology. I got them acting as a volume. You're not supposed to do that. So it's a little bit dangerous the way I have them set up. So I want to have an immediate backup that I can always reach. That if these disks fail, fine, just wipe them and start again and pull the backup right off of the Synology right there. So that's why that backup exists. And of course, I've got 2 backups of my whole Synology in general because 1 is none and 2 is 1.
And 7 is enough.
Right. So there we go. So I have a lot of copies. I mean, to me, it makes sense. The backup of the Synologies are the most expensive backups because I had to buy other Synologies that I've outlined already on this podcast that cost me, a not trivial amount of money. But the way that I look at that is it's also cheaper than paying for Backblaze backups or, it's a bit cheaper than Backblaze is not bad, but it's better than paying Backblaze's NAS backup system or any of those other things because I've got terabytes of stuff that I can't pay for those other things. So buying a whole nother Synology is way cheaper than paying for terabytes of backup on an online backup service. So yeah, I'm spending money. Although, in the immediate, I'm not spending any money because I've already bought all my Synologies. I've already bought all my disks. They're just chugging away at the moment. Yeah, I'll probably have to replace a disk again soon. And I'll probably spend, 2-3 mon on a disk. But, that's not bad. Otherwise, I'd be spending 2-3 mon on terabytes worth of backup storage every month. So I'll probably spend, $700 on disks over the course of the year. And then now that I bought my Synologies, so I've bought a bunch of things, but the ongoing cost is very low besides electricity.
Okay.
So yeah, I got a lot of backups, but these again are my digital photos and I don't want to lose them. I do have a lot of photos that I want to keep, so.
I get it. And, for somebody who cares about photos, I get that is important. It just seems 7 is a bit excessive to me.
Right. It's 7. But again, the 3 of the original, that's just, I've got 2 terabyte drives sitting around the house. So I'll just plug it into that computer and it'll have yet another copy. That'll stop me from bit rot problems. All right. What else do you back up, Brian?
All right. This one is perhaps a little bit sillier. So, you know that I, in my boundless amounts of free time, enjoy writing. And over the past couple of years, I have written a lot of bits and pieces of stories, some short stories, and things like that. And the files of those stories and the notebooks of the ideas of those stories, I have very much backed up. So, for example, the actual computer writing parts of those stories, I not only have those saved in individual files, but every time I make an edit to those files, I actually save a separate version of that old file. Sorry, the word sounded weird in my head when I said that. Version.
Yeah, I mean, you're using a versioning system. I mean, you almost want to use Git or something.
Almost, but within the system that I do, I basically take the individual files within, because it's essentially how it's saved within the application I use. It saves all of the writing inside one kind of packaged information thing. So every time I load it up, when I start working on a new edit, I will take the old version of that. Again, versioning it. So I'll save another copy of it, save that into an archive, and then continue working on the thing that I was working on.
Okay.
So because it's all saved in the package itself, I don't end up using Git, because it's basically just duplicate this file, move it down here. Then once that's done, I also have a duplicate of that entire packaged file saved on iCloud, and then I have a backup, a separate one on my computer as well. So the reason I do this is because a couple of years ago, I was working on something, and when I went to update something, I accidentally only had one copy of the file, and I accidentally overwrote something thinking that I was downloading the correct version. I was actually overwriting my newest version with an old version, and ended up losing about 6 months worth of writing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, was it 6 months that I am grieving over? No, because it wasn't that good.
Okay, but still.
But it was basically 6 months worth of writing just down the tubes. Now, here's the thing, though. In practicing writing over those 6 months, did I get better at actually writing? Yes. So having lost it, it means that, I still gained the skills in writing, but I did lose it. But I never want that sort of thing to happen again. So I have that system backed up for my digital stuff. Now, in addition to that, anytime I've written anything down in a paper notebook, that paper notebook goes into, I have a basket full of notebooks of when I fill up a notebook, it goes into the basket. So if I ever want to refer to some idea I had 6 years ago, I shuffle through my 20 pounds worth of notebooks that I have in a basket in my house to find the one time that I wrote down this one weird idea.
And you can find it?
Usually, because I generally know the context in which it came up.
Okay.
So usually I can track it down. Or I have a fun afternoon flipping through old notebooks and going, ooh, oh.
Good, I didn't go with that idea, huh?
Yeah. So it's a silly one that I back up, but it was either that or talking about the fact that for pretty much every gaming service, I am subscribed to the cloud version of their subscription service simply for the cloud save game backups.
Yeah.
If they gave me nothing else, I would still pay for it because of the cloud save game backups.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think Your writing one doesn't sound weird to me at all because you're putting a lot of time into it. So it is something you're going to want to save. I mean, in some ways, I like the fact that I am using GitLab to manage all of my code because, yeah, it's a cloud version of all my backup. It's something I'm spending a lot of time writing. So yeah, it makes sense to me. If you're spending time on it, you want to back it up.
Yeah. And like I said, I do this because I don't want to lose it. And I have had an experience where I've lost 6 months worth of writing.
Yes, I've never experienced losing photos. I know people who have, but I have never lost photos. So I am not doing it out of fear yet or personal experience.
Yeah. Well, join me in my fears.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think I'm going to steal one from school.
Oh, no.
If you'll allow me. We back up lots of things at school, but one of the ones that I back up a lot, and actually I didn't think of code. Code would probably be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm going to talk about our databases. I back up our databases religiously. I think I've thought about it a lot. I do our school ones very frequently. I do my personal databases less frequently, but I do wonder if I should do it more frequently. I don't think I will yet, because I won't go back to something more frequently on my personal databases as school. The school ones have a lot more people editing them, so I might need to go back to something from an hour ago because they just deleted it and I want that backup. So I do that frequently at school, but I don't do that as much personally. But I definitely tested out my backups. One of the changes I made in Learn or Build over the break. This is how I throw the story in. This is how it goes, Ryan. Actually, this is the better way to tell the story, actually.
Good.
I did something in Learn or Build over break that changed the format of how data was stored. I think I'd come to you with this idea pretty soon after school started using Learn or Build full time. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm storing the data wrong. And I explained it to you, but I was like, but nothing's broken.
So I'm going to leave it.
So I can't change it now, right?
Yeah.
If I change the way the data is stored, yes, it makes things simpler, but nothing's broken, so I can't fix it. I have other things that are broken that need to be fixed. So I can't change it. But the school was talking to me about adding some new features, and I was thinking, yeah, I really do want to add those features. But you know what? I have to change the way the data is stored first because I wanted to use the storage system that I had come up with. When I realized, I was like, oh, the data is stored wrong. Here's how it should be stored. I really need to change the way the data is stored. For the new things to work, I'm going to use the same storage system. So I was like, okay, fine. Now I have to sit down and redo it. So I sat down and redid it, and I did it a whole bunch of times on my test machine. I had it convert the data and run it converted and see what would happen. How many times did it convert, blah, blah, blah. And I had run checks and checks. But before I did it on the live system, I was like, no. I'm going to make sure I have a backup that works and can be restored first of Learn or Build before I run. Because, the school's got, 3 years into Learn or Build. And yeah, if I had lost the last 3 years, it probably would have been fine.
Probably.
Well, the data that changed, if I had lost the data that changed, we probably would have been fine. If I had lost assessment data that teachers pull from year to year, that would have been a problem. But the data that I was changing wasn't that data. So if I had somehow corrupted the data that I was changing, it probably would have slipped away. But anyway, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to lose anything. So I did run a full backup first. I restored that backup to make sure I could restore it. One of the things that scares me is the way that MySQL backs up. It doesn't show me the backup in UTF-8. Even if I open up the file in UTF-8, I don't see the kanji that people, our Japanese teachers have entered all their assessment titles in Japanese, and I don't see that. And that's just disconcerting that it's not backed up properly. But when I restore it the correct way, using the correct method, it restores properly into kanji. So, if I do it the wrong way, it won't. But if I do it the correct way, it does. Like if I just copy and paste the insert command out of the backup file and paste it into my program here, it doesn't restore it properly. But if I just restore it with the command line, the way that you're supposed to restore it, by declaring all of the character sets and all that ahead of time, it restores properly. So I was very worried about that because, if I mess anything up, I want to make sure it's restoring properly. So I tested all of Learn or Build's backup systems out, and yes, it's backing up fine. Then I ran the conversion script on the live data. It took a long time and converted all the live data to the new format, the new data storage system, and it worked. It worked smoothly, no errors. And then all of the data was migrated over. So yes, we are now using the new data storage system on LearnerBuild, which stores, It stores standard-based grades and rubric-based grades in their own attempt. So now they all have their own attempt, which is the part that I didn't have before. You could never have a different attempt on standard-based grades before, but now you can. It's a nice upgrade. It's a lot of work, but the rubric-based thing was necessary. So to make the rubric-based thing work, I needed to adjust the way standard-based grades worked. So, but yeah, I like it.
All right.
It took me a week and a half after changing the way the storage system worked to get all the interfaces adjusted to work on the new storage. So it took me a week and a half just to get that. And then I had to do the rubric stuff. So it took me a long time on top of that. But definitely worth the change because now it is much smoother and cooler.
I have had no problems with it since it's been updated, and it's been really good for me. So I'm happy with it.
I'm glad it's done. I got other things to work on, and I wish I had gotten other things done this summer. But when I looked at the list of projects that I had to do, this project was the one that was going to take the most consecutive thinking time. Like, is this going to be a concerted effort of at least 2 weeks? I think it took me just over 2 weeks of consecutive thinking. Now, all my projects that I have to do left are all like, I could do that in a few hours. I could do that in a few hours. I could do that in a few hours. But this one was like, no, I need to be deep into it for a while. So that's the one I wanted to at least accomplish over the summer because that's when I have consecutive thinking time.
Yeah. Were there things that I wish you had also gotten done over the summer? Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Am I just teasing you? Definitely. You had me read a book that I think you're planning on having a theme of books coming up.
I've got a little theme. We'll talk about books about clones. And I think actually we're reading them in the order that I read them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has to be read in this order, but this is the order we're going to go with. And I think this is one of the books I borrowed from you too. So I'm enjoying that. Thank you.
Now, the question I would say is, so we're reading books on clones.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why we're going down the Clone War?
Only because I just happened to have read these books on clones, and they brought up topics that I wanted to talk with you about.
Okay, seems reasonable.
And I just happened to read these books about clones. I don't know how they all got grouped together in my reading list, but it wasn't by choice. It was by accident.
It's not because you're planning on getting yourself cloned?
No, I don't. I don't think it's possible, for one thing. But even if it was, that's an interesting idea. I'll have to think about that. But yeah, so I had you read 6 Wakes by Mur Lafferty.
Mm-hmm.
And this book, I think I had heard about it originally from The Incomparable. They had brought it up there. So yeah, I think people should read it. What do you think, Ryan?
Not to give too much away, but I also think people should read it. I think it's a good book, and we'll talk more about that. But let me do the quick spiel. First of all, for those of you who have not read 6 Wakes yet, I will tell you right now, this is the time to back out because this is where we're going to be going into some spoilers. But for those who want to get a kind of a vibe for it before they back out, the basic premise, the back cover kind of summary, there is a ship going off to a new colony for Earth, the very first colony for Earth, and it is piloted by a couple of clones. And at the beginning of the book, the clones all wake up having their old selves floating dead in front of them. And they have no memory of what happened for the past period of time. I'm trying to be as ambiguous as possible because some of these things are plot points.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But they have no memories, they have no idea why they are dead, and they have no idea where they are or what has happened. And the entire book is figuring out what has happened, how have they gotten to this place, and how can they get everything fixed.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I think, I don't like books where you can say to the characters, okay, just talk to the other person, and the problem would go away. Like the whole book hinges on the fact that people just don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like, just talk. Come on. This book fixes that in the way that they can't really talk because they all suspect each other, so they can't just talk to each other. So I think there's a lantern on that plot problem in this book.
And not only that, to go fully into spoiler territory now.
Yep. Go read the book.
Go read the book. Not only is it that they can't talk to each other because they suspect each other, because they're all piloted by criminals who have been promised that if they do this colony ship driving, they will be forgiven for all their crimes. And it's not revealed what any of their crimes are until partway or near the end of the book for many of them. But one of them really can't talk to any of the others because a lot of their crimes have to do with the others' backstories.
Yeah, it caused the others' problems. Right.
They caused most of the others' problems, yeah. I will say, I did appreciate that the audiobook was read by the author.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, that was nice.
I did really appreciate that.
I mean, let's go back. Sorry, we got into it right away, but you liked this book, Ryan, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I liked this book. I thought it was good.
Me too. I think to me, though, it's like a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's my favorite book. I think we can get into a little bit why, but there are a lot of things I really liked about this book.
I like this book. I thought it was good. I think I also gave it a 4. I had a lot of fun with this book, but I like kind of the mystery element of it. That is kind of exactly my jam.
I think one of the things that soured me in the first reading, and then reading it again for this week, I think I don't like books where the whole outlook too is very bleak, like everybody's evil. And I think that this book was teetering on that. But in the end, it was like, yeah, we've all done bad things, and all bad things have happened to all of us. Not all of them caused all their problems, too. Some of them just reacted to their negative problems, but there was still hope in the people.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And I think that this book did have that at the end. I think I wished it was a little bit more highlighted. I don't know how that would happen, but I think that my first reading was like, wow, everybody's just bad. But no, they're good people trying to get by. They're suspicious, but they're trying to get by.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I didn't get the vibe that they were all bad people. Like, there's Maria, who
is the hacker.
She's the hacker, but she's, for the most part, throughout the book, is their cook, their janitor, their handy woman, I guess is the best way to put her. She did all the miscellaneous tasks.
She's mostly the narrator, too.
She is mostly the narrator. And I felt like she wasn't how I would define as a bad person. She was forced into a lot of bad things.
Right. Because she had the skills that bad people wanted to use.
But she was a skilled person who, from her perspective, wanted to do good things. She was trying to prevent genetic diseases and things like that, because her ability with hacking was essentially genetic hacking. She would find things in people's DNA, things in people's mind maps that she could tweak, and then when they got cloned the next time, they would be different. Again, it's skills that bad people wanted. Probably in my mind, the one who was the least redeemable was the captain.
Yeah. The war battle, the military.
The military well, they specifically mention that she's done war crimes. They don't mention what they are, but they mention that she's done war crimes. War crimes are bad. But part of it is like she kicks everything off by her paranoia.
Yeah.
Akihiro,
the split personality guy,
has multiple personalities that are not any of his fault. Like, he didn't cause that.
Yeah. Well, because Maria did, but Maria did it under duress also.
Yes. She was being tortured. So it's like, I can't blame Akihiro. Paul is probably the most irredeemable one.
Yeah.
I forgot about him. Because he's also a problem. Because his whole thing is, I hate clones. I'm going to do everything I can to get my revenge on a perceived family murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Joanna, I didn't see anything to mark her as a bad character, as a bad person. She's the doctor. She wrote the
clone law.
She wrote the clone laws. Her crimes were political. At least that's what she says.
Yes. And yeah, she seems she's also redeemable too.
I didn't even see what she needed to be, I guess, if we're going to use that word, be redeemed from.
Yeah, her crimes were only against the woman that sent them all packing. What was her name? I forgot her name too.
Sally.
Sally, yeah, the rich woman who sent them all packing. Her crimes were just against her, not against people or the world, perhaps.
Yeah, and Sally, and that's part of the thing, is this whole colony ship is a giant, essentially, scam from Sally to give all these people hope, send them out into the dark. Only at the end of the book do they realize that everyone that is on the ship is an opponent or is essentially an enemy of Sally. So she gathered up all the people who don't like her and put them on a ship and sent them out 200 years away from her.
Yep.
Yeah. And then purposely put people who would fight in charge of it all.
So, Ryan.
Yes.
Do you think clones have a soul?
Oh.
Luckily, I think we don't actually have to answer that question. That was an interesting one put forth, huh?
Yeah, that was an interesting one put forth. All right, let me ask you, what makes up the soul?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is the soul your mind, your body, your entire sense of self conjoined into one being? Is it yourself, to use a different word?
I don't think so. I think what their misunderstanding is, this is like the transporters of Star Trek. Every time you die, you die. When the next person wakes up, they just happen to wake up with all your memories in your body there. That's a new person.
So they have a new soul.
They have a new soul. I mean, again, not that I have any scientific proof to back this up, but it's like, to me, it's like the transporter. Somebody died and somebody was born on the spot.
Well, I mean, again, it's the conversation of, can one talk about the soul separate from the body?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're deluding themselves to think that they are waking up again, in my eyes. I don't know if that's true or not, but in my eyes, I think they're deluding themselves and saying, no, they're dead and another being is being born of them. It's not them. It's just another one. That's the Star Trek transporter. I can reference that.
The CGP Grey Star Trek transporter video?
Yes, exactly. Wonderful video. It's a killing machine.
It is a suicide box where it is cloning you on the surface of the planet, and the you who is currently there is being disintegrated.
Right. That's how I see it.
Yep. And it's just being cloned with all of your thoughts and memories. But is a person at least partially made up of their memories? Or are they fully defined by their memories? I'll leave that to you to decide.
Exactly. Listener can decide that one. But what I want to say is, and the reason I like this book, and the reason why I wanted to bring it forward, was because I think this book does clones right.
Okay.
The next books we will read, I don't think they will do clones as well. They bring up some interesting things to talk about, nonetheless. But I just don't think they do clones as well. This book, I think, discusses the social ramifications of what cloning does. There's a whole lot of social problems that come about with clones, and some do it, some don't like it, some like it. I think that would happen. And of course, because this book kind of spans hundreds of years, from flashbacks to the present, it talks about, it didn't pick up right away. Not everyone liked it right away, but it got socially accepted in some circles, got socially accepted in more circles, got socially accepted in more circles, and still people rebel against it. But it's more widespread than it was when it first started, and people like it. It's a fact of life for many, and that, I think, is how it would happen. Like, if this technology were ever to come to pass, I think it would happen similarly to this. It seems like, I mean, not that I want this to come forward, I think I probably don't, but I think this is how it would happen in the real world. And I think the other books that we will talk about don't get that. I think Mur Lafferty understood it.
That there's a lot of social nuance to how things would be accepted in society.
Right. I think Mur Lafferty did a great job of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then wrapping it up into this story, too. It was perfectly wrapped into the story because all the societal problems came to a head within the story, within these characters, which I think was great.
Yeah, well, some of them were the causes of all those societal problems.
Yes, 'tis true. 'Tis true. So, I don't know. I think I really like that about this book. Of the cloning books we read, this one does it right. Maybe we should have read it last, but this one does it right.
Yes, but while you said that, you also said that there were some things that you preferred about the other books.
Yes, well, the stories and things like that.
Ah.
They use cloning in the other books. They don't handle all the implications that cloning would cause.
So, to clarify your stance then, you think that this book understands the concept, the societal implications of cloning so much better,
right?
But you prefer the stories of the other books that we'll read.
Yes, in some ways, I think, yes.
Because I remember that
I shared this to you earlier, right? Mm-hmm.
You shared some of this with me earlier, but you specifically mentioned that of the three, that this is not the strongest of the stories.
Right.
And I was trying to understand why you prefer the other two over this one.
I don't exactly remember. I have to read the other two again.
Well, we'll get to those.
And in fact, 6 weeks, reading it the second time, it's gone up in my estimation again.
Yeah.
And part of it is because all the nuance of cloning is built into this story. I think maybe I have forgotten that before too, but all the nuance of cloning is built into the story, which is great.
Yes. And I really enjoyed the story. I thought as a whole, it was a good book. I thought the nuance was great. I think my one perhaps issue with everything was there were a few things that I felt were too convenient.
Yeah, it could be. Everything was tied to Maria kind of thing.
Not just that, but it's also like the one thing that set everything off again was the Japanese written for the instruction manual inside the new food processor, which wasn't used yet after 20 odd years of being on this trip.
And when would it have been planned to have been opened?
And
right?
When was it planted? When did the AI actually get a chance to write that paper copy and put it inside the box before he became an AI, yet knowing how to disable his AI restraints before he became an AI? That seems a bit far-fetched. Those are like a few like little plot hole-y things for me. But honestly, those are the things that I can be like, okay, I'm going to suspend my disbelief on this one. But that was my big problem, was there were a few things that felt a little too convenient. That being said, everything having to do with Maria, I actually didn't have a problem with, because the premise of this entire ship was one woman getting her revenge on basically thousands of people at the same time. That makes sense.
Right, because Sally's behind everything. Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Because that being said, I can just imagine what all these people are thinking, going, okay, how can I now get my revenge on Sally? Because that would be my, like, oh, you tried to send us 200 years away for what?
Right, and that's what I'm glad they came to that conclusion too. Like, okay, you're trying to send us away to sink us, but we're just gonna get even with you by actually surviving. I mean, I like that too. I like that they came to that conclusion. Like, since Sally's well, I guess she has clones, so I guess she might not be dead.
Yeah. Oh, she's still gonna clone herself, but
that's true. It's true. So she'll still be alive. But one of the best ways they can get even is actually make this mission a success, and all these people will live fine without her. We'll make our new home and be perfectly fine without you. Yep. No good.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was wondering too is, do you think, because I think it can be both ways, and maybe it is both ways, 6 wakes is referring to the number of days it took them to figure everything out, or the number of people who woke up on that first day? Because all the chapter titles are wake 1, wake 2, wake 3. as in how many days we are working through the plot line, the plot on the book, right? Not on the flashbacks, but the plot of the book.
Yeah, I guess I assumed it had to do with the people.
Me too. I assumed it that way first also, and I didn't pick up the chapter titles until this time reading through that, everything's being figured out on the day of the sixth wake. I mean, maybe it's both. But yeah, it took them a week to piece everything together. Well, because everything was destroyed, but it took them a week to figure all that out.
Yeah.
Because little bits of information were shared between each of them. Little bits. Can't tell everybody everything.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it more reading it again now for this podcast, second time through. I mean, one of the things that stood out to me was I knew Paul had done it because that was the thing I had remembered. I remember, it was Paul. Paul did it. But I had forgotten how and what, and I forgot that everyone was connected and that they reprinted the guy that was the AI. That was funny. I had forgotten that part. So yeah, there was good things in this book, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody should read it because, I mean, it got nominated for Hugo or Nebula or something.
Oh, it got a bunch of things. It was nominated for BSFA Award for Best Novel, finalist for the Philip K. Dick Award.
Hugo and Nebula's.
Hugo and Nebula's, it looks like it was a nominee.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nominated for a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like it actually won any of them.
No, I think that year was tough.
Let's see.
Yeah, Stone Sky.
Stone Sky and Stone Sky.
Oh, yeah. Well, Stone Sky was a very good book.
So, I mean,
pretty hard.
How do you fight against N.K. Jemisin? I mean, that's a book that you're just like, no, that makes sense that she won.
Yeah. 6 Weeks was good. It was good. Good to be nominated. Definitely deserved that.
Yeah.
It would have been hard to be against Stone Sky. That was a very good book.
That being said, I'm looking at the Nebulas, and Fifth Season and Obelisk Gate didn't win. Only Stone Sky won.
Mm-hmm. The last one. Yeah, so everyone should go read 6 Weeks by Mur Lafferty. Good book.
It is a great book. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun read. It is very interesting. It does deal a lot with some like social and political implications of what happens when we add cloning into the world and actually have the ability to maybe tweak memories and DNA, and what that means for society, what that means for everybody. And I think that it's a fun little bit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it can't be easy to write something that takes this amount of thinking, all the implications put forward. Like, that was well done. I was just impressed by that. Next time, Ryan, what do you got next?
So, we have our listener episode next. What we are going to be doing, per our listeners' request, is we are going to be talking about and reviewing Picard Season 3. I've already seen Picard. I know you have too.
Yes.
But from the message that was left to us from our listener, they seemed to think that Picard Season 3 was a satisfying wrap-up of not just the Picard series, but with a lot of really great tie-ins to the Next Generation as a whole.
I would agree with that statement, yes.
And so, we're going to talk about all of that the next time we get together after having watched all of Picard Season 3. So we hope you found something nice about this hill that we were willing to die on, and we appreciate all of our listeners coming along on this journey with us. And if you ever thought to yourself, hey, I like what these guys do, and I just wish there was some way I could support them, know that you can. Visit myhilltodieon.com/members for more details. But what does it mean to be a member? Well, for the low price of $2 a month or $15 a year, you can help support this podcast. And by doing so, you'll get access to the members-only podcast, Not My Hill, which is where we discuss things that are probably somebody else's hill to die on. We have strong feelings about them, but as the title says, they're definitely not hills that we're willing to die on. In addition, you'll also get access to the suggestion forum, where you can make suggestions for our Listener Hill episodes, where we will watch, read, or climb up a hill that you're willing to die on, and we'll talk all about it. But know that the conversation doesn't have to end here. The discussion can continue with us through Reddit at the subreddit My Hill to Die On, or by contacting us through email, which, to no one's surprise, is myhilltodieon@gmail.com. And finally, we upload all of our episodes to our YouTube channel, which is also named, say with me now, folks, My Hill to Die On.
Well, and they keep saying it's going to be this rainy day, but it hasn't really rained.
Today?
Yeah, it looks like it might storm while we're recording. We'll see if that actually happens or not.
Yeah, around 10 o'clock, 11-ish, there was like a quick downpour that was pretty heavy, but it ended within like 20 minutes or a half hour.
Oh, and this typhoon has basically all but dissipated.
Yeah. It's supposed to hit Tokyo when?
Exactly. It's not ever making it.
It's not making it, no.
Good.
I do have to say that when I type in the typhoon to the search bar, all the news reports are talking about how 6 people died in this typhoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely bad down south.
Down south, it was bad. The pictures are, oof. Yeah. But by the time it reaches Tokyo, it's not happening.
Yep, the people that were worried about affecting us up here are unfortunately misled.
Well, because when they see that a typhoon is about to hit Japan,
everybody has to panic.
Hey, for me, what would it have meant potentially if it had hit strong enough on a school day, we might have had to potentially cancel or have a late start?
I mean, I would say that our hit rate on canceling school for a typhoon
is low,
right? I mean, so much so that if ever we were to do it again, I mean, I was always thinking, okay, I'm going to Disney that day because it just doesn't hit when we cancel. The forecasts are like, oh, it's going to be the worst thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to be bad. And then we cancel school and then nothing happens and it's a gorgeous day. And it's like, yeah, should have gone to Disney.
Well, I'm sure that the parents of the students, they're thrilled, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. They like it too. Mm-hmm. Kids are fine.
The kids love it. But the parents, probably not so much.
No, every time I open up something new on my computer's like, would you like to collaborate with Ryan over FaceTime with this item? I'm like, no, still not this one either. No. I opened up the show notes. I'm already collaborating with Ryan over the show notes. Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Yeah, that's already been collaborated on. Which reminds me, I should probably sign into those show notes. Sorry, I said Adventureland, but I was trying to think of the name of the
Toshimayan?
No, the one that was like on Defunct Land.
Oh, Action Park.
Action Park, yes.
Yes. Well, Action Park was huge compared to this, but
yeah, but I'm just imagining an action park, really. Sorry, I'm the one who said we shouldn't mention times, and now
I know. I was trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, I didn't mention fall. I mentioned heat and Christmas.
Yep.
I think that's as ambiguous as I can be. We're recording this in September. We should be able to get this episode out before Christmas.
Or before spring break is what I was thinking. You're talking about a week break, right? Can we get this up before spring break?
Yes, we can get it out before spring break. I mean, sorry, I was looking up the Wikipedia entry of it, and apparently the inspiration for this game that the person says that his main inspiration was the musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I'm like, okay, I can see that now.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard fun things about it.
I went to a college theater program where the musical they put on for their fall performance was a musical stage rendition of Once More with Feeling, the Buffy the Vampire musical episode. It was kind of great that they actually made it into a stage production. Yeah. I went because one of my friends was in the cast. What are we doing for the drink?
These peach Calpis.
The peach Calpis. All right.
That's the only one I have. Is there another one that we have?
No, I think that's the only one I had, but I wanted to verify that I didn't accidentally lose one somewhere.
Right, okay. No, I think that's the only one we have.
All right.
Because I mean, there's been others. I just haven't bought any others.
Yeah. How many of those others were Calpis?
A few, yeah. There was actually a ice cream melon cream. So it was an ice cream melon Calpis.
What?
I thought, interesting.
You're adding ice cream to the milk-based drink Calpis or the yogurt-based drink Calpis?
Yep. I decided not to get it, but it looked interesting.
Interesting is a word.